Today on Toy Habits Reviews, we have the ruthless leader of the evil horde on the examination table. And before we get into the review, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest reviews, news, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and we are coming at you from our examination room. I'm Michael, and with me is my collector in crime, Larry, and today we are taking a detailed look at the Deluxe Masterverse Hordak and comparing him to his Lou Scheimer MOTU Classics tribute figure and his PowerCon exclusive version from Origins. So let's start off by looking at the figure in the box, and again, these boxes are awesome. Hordak is in the huge window display box for the deluxe figures, and it has that awesome Princess of Power logo on it.
It is cool. I like that they give that the big window to kind of be able to see all the accessories, get a good view of the figure. They usually do some decent posing in there, so you get and I think they do a good job of kind of setting it up where you could take them out and kind of put them on the shelf for a while, and then if you want to pop them back in and display them kind of back in the package too. So
I think they do a great job with that. And of course, they do a great job with the art on the side of the box. And he's got a cool photo with just his blasting arm on the side. And then also he's sitting on his throne on the back of the box.
I always like the blue, Filmation colors Hordak. I think he looks great. It's a good color of blue for him. Looks great.
Yeah, and actually, I don't think Masterverse does this, but we can see Leech and Mantenna in here, so I'm not sure they're pulling an Origins teaser here, but that'd be awesome if Leech and Mantenna were in the Masterverse line.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think about it, I mean, I'm sure at some point they will be.
Yeah.
I think if the line continues on, I think we'll get everybody. So maybe they're not necessarily doing kind of the Origin style sneak peek thing, but at some point it kind of is.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So let's crack open Hordak and take a closer look at the figure. All right, now we have Hordak out of the box, and we will keep the other figures handy when we need them. So let's start off by looking at the figure from the top. And the first thing that jumped out at me was just how cool the head sculpt was. And it's one of the better looking versions of this head sculpt that I've seen so far. It's very angular, and I love the way that they made the expression look a lot more neutral on his face.
Yeah, they did a great job with it. I think it's more, I don't know, Classics I think had a very distinct feel on all the head sculpts. I think I don't know what the difference is. I guess it's just a slightly different scale to Masterverse than Classics was. Those were more of like I don't know, it's just a whole different feel to the figure. But yeah, this one has a very Filmation kind of look to it somehow, I guess,
Yeah, it does. Like, I think the Classics one had more of like a beast feel to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, this definitely has a lot more Filmation feel to it. I love the bones that they have around the hood and just the armor itself, because I think they really kind of leaned into that aspect of it.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like what they did because it's to me it's the little details like that sometimes you don't even really notice. But yeah, it's cool to pick all those little things out. Even kind of that ridge of blue going down his forehead, in between his eyes. Somehow just it looks a lot cleaner in this head sculpt than some others. So I think that's cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely did a great job on the head sculpt, and you can actually take the hood off, and you can take the cape off as well. As you can see, when you take the hood off, there are these really huge pegs in the back, and unlike Catra, where you can actually see the slit down her face, you can actually hide these pretty well if you want to take the cape off.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of an odd like design choice to do it that way. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess maybe if they weren't quite so tall, maybe if they had like a little kind of like a ball peg at the end that would kind of slip over, to kind of hold the cape down, they wouldn't have to be so tall.
Yeah.
That's my only kind of gripe with it. But I guess at some point maybe it also kind of holds the hood in place too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely holds. Yeah, it definitely holds the hood in place, and that's actually probably the reason why they did it. But you're left with these huge holes that look kind of like a ghost now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at Hordak's head without the cape, and you kind of have to do this in a specific order. So you put his hood on, and then you can snap his head back in, and I think it actually looks pretty cool without the cape.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think, I don't know. I think that that's one of the best things about Masterverse is you get so many different display options, and almost all of them end up looking good, you know?
Yeah, yeah. We can also check them out. Well, I guess if you leave them without the hood too, then you have these kind of unsightly things to deal with. But I don't know if anyone will ever want to display them like that. But, it's another option.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like a casual Hordak, like
Yeah,
he's, like a Sunday afternoon t-shirt and jeans kind of
yeah.
look for him.
It's like it can't be formal all the time, right?
Oh no, you don't have that hood up all the time. It get hot.
Um, and they integrated the blast cannon into his right arm for this version, and the blast cannon is actually really cool. And actually, I like that they've kind of made it so it looks like it's actually part of his arm versus just before it just kind of looked like they just kind of slapped it on, and it was just kind of like, okay, we're just going to put a metal cannon on him, and it kind of looks more integrated with the metal piece there. But interesting thing, like you'll see Hordak's arm cannon, I guess on each arm, and in the Filmation cartoon that he had it present on each arm just in various episodes. So there's no rhyme or reason to whether it goes on his right or his left arm. It's a lot less intricate than the classics
Hmm.
version, which is to be expected, but they did add some silver paint apps to the arm itself there.
Yeah, and I like that. I think the only drawback to it is like with the different arm placements, then you end up with the kind of like it doesn't match up anymore, so then
Mm-hmm.
it looks a little odd. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, depending on kind of how you see it as far as like functionality wise, maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
And
at some point they're toys, so whatever.
yeah, exactly. But interesting choice here. Like they decided to just kind of leave the armband black and not have a red horde symbol. So I think that could have been painted not to match the classics one, but just to give it a little more oomph, for a deluxe figure.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think yeah, sometimes those extra paint apps really help, and I think that would help that armband to kind of stand out a little bit. It's just a little extra detail.
Yeah, definitely.
Feels a little unfinished at this point, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, his chest armor is really cool, and they kind of continue that bone design around the shoulders, and I think it's kind of got a cool like rib cage bone
Hmm.
looking design down here, which is neat.
Yeah, and that's something that I just, I think a lot of times I miss those kind of things as far as, I just don't spend a whole lot of time examining the different sculpts and different details of the figures like that. So I think it's cool to see kind of that rib cage look and the bones kind of continue around the armor
Hmm.
and things.
Yeah, yeah, it's neat. He's got another horde symbol in black, which is kind of hard. Oh, here it catches the light. It's a lot easier to see here.
Hmm.
And his waist belt is actually looks neat too. It's kind of got that kind of horde-esque symbol on it as well, kind of moving all around the waist
Hmm.
piece.
Yeah, I think that came out really good. I like the color of the, kind of the silver look to it along with the black and the blue. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good.
The colors on this are interesting because it's a much darker blue than what
Hmm.
we've seen on previous Hordaks. It's kind of looks like that web store blue from Origins.
Yeah, they're kind of sticking with that same blue, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And the leg design, it's a stock legs. Again, on these figures, I think what I'm noticing too is the silver paint app is, I don't know if it's just misapplied or if they're kind of packing these figures wet in here, but you'll see some silver paint app on the legs as you move around, which is unfortunate because I don't like sloppy paint apps on my figure, and it just makes the figure just not doesn't look as premium.
No, it doesn't. And it's hard to ignore it once you see it. And that stuff drives me crazy. I hate looking at something on the shelf because my eyes are always drawn to it once I
Yeah.
know it's there.
Yeah, and you can probably take some rubbing alcohol and just make it lighter, but it's like you shouldn't have to do that.
No,
But
no.
that said, his boot design is actually really cool, and it kind of looks like he's got like flippers for feet.
Yeah,
So,
he's got the Donald Duck feet going on,
yeah,
which again is interesting. But all the Motu characters' feet are are always interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they look cool, but they do kind of look like duck feet to me.
Yeah. And again, I think a missed opportunity is to kind of
Yep.
really accentuate the horde symbol down here because you can kind of, it's kind of lost in all the black paint app. It has a little shine to it, which is nice, but it would have been nice to have a red horde symbol down here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's cool that it's like a gloss against the kind of the matte black of the boot, but yeah, you do kind of miss the detail, and I think if they would have added some red there, yeah, it would have helped them. Um, just kind of it's just a little bit of extra detail that you'd see.
Yeah, I do like the bone design around the top of the boot, so it kind of ties in the bones with the armor here too.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that's really cool. They kept that theme going throughout the figure. I like that.
Yes. All right. So let's take a look at Hordak's weapons and accessories. All right. So given that Hordak is a deluxe figure, he does come with a lot of weapons and accessories. So let's take a look at the blast effect first, which is actually pretty cool. It's something that just really haven't done much with blast effects with these Motu figures. So it's kind of nice to see this, and it just pops on his arm cannon pretty easily.
Yeah, I think it's I always like blast effects for figures. I think they're a cool addition, and really you can do a lot of different stuff with them. So
Yeah, I like that too. And he also comes with a claw attachment that attaches to his cannon attachment, which is, it's interesting because this cannon attachment is more of a matte gray, and it just kind of looks a little unfinished, with the silver on his on his arm cannon here. Maybe.
it it also has like a little bit of a weird look to it, like he's got like a tiny hand at the end of
Mm-hmm.
that arm, you know?
Yeah. It does. And yeah, I think it actually makes his hand look, that much longer. And
Yeah.
so I think I'd much rather wish that they, kind of did a different piece here. Like maybe the arm cannon was detachable and they made, this claw, kind of look like the arm cannon.
Yeah, I think if that kind of that end piece, like that collar piece at the end, if that popped off and
Yeah.
then the clamp went on there or the claw went on there, then I think that would look a lot more kind of natural. I mean, I guess it's weird to say natural, but I think it would look more normal on there because right
Yeah.
now that looks like it would be the end of kind of that cannon, and if you add something to the top, to the end of it, it just it looks a little bit too long for it. So
Yeah, it does. But I guess with the arm cannon, he does come with another arm, which you really don't see in these Masterverse figures. Coming with extra arms, so you can actually pop his arm on really easily. Getting it to pose is a different story, but
sure. Yep. Yeah, it takes a little work getting those joints worked out. But yeah, it's cool that he's got the ability to swap it out.
and then he also has some hands, which I think they're probably the stock hands that come with other figures as well. But
Can you
some.
pop one of them on the end of the cannon?
Let's see. No, just
Yeah,
well,
darn it. That's too
not the
bad.
right one, but no, they don't fit. You can make it, make his arm look, that much
Yeah,
weirder.
that's great.
But his shield is really cool. It's got a cool texture on it. And looks like it has some battle damage to it, and of course, it's got his own head on there too. It's got the same attachment that the other shields have, so he can hold it on the other side.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's got a cool design to it. I
Mhm.
like the shield a lot.
Yeah, and finally comes with his crossbow, and his crossbow looks really really cool with kind of it kind of has those blast effects too that are kind of integrated into the bow.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. A lot of times the crossbows that came with the Horde figures for me, they're always something I just kind of throw in the accessory bin. I
Yeah.
never really use them, but this actually looks like something cool you might want to display with them. So,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think they did a great job with the head sculpt on
mhm,
this one.
yeah,
For the bat or whatever this is.
yeah, yeah, and that looks cool.
It definitely does. And all right, I think that does it for all of his weapons and accessories. So let's have that Hordak party. All right, now we have all the Hordaks together, and we have the Lou Scheimer Classics version here, and the Masterverse version, and his Motu Origins that came out for the PowerCon exclusive set. And so just interesting just to see just all of the lines together, just how they do things a little differently, and just the evolution of, the Classics Hordak, versus the Masterverse Hordak.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think the Masterverse Hordak is my favorite of the three. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think the other two are bad necessarily, but I think it has a lot of cool elements to it. It's kind of a lot more kind of sleek look to the armor. I think that the hood piece came out a lot better than the other two versions, and the head sculpt too. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on with that one. Yeah, I didn't realize just how huge this hood was until I looked at the
Yeah.
Masterverse figure, and I think it just goes along with just the Masterverse figures just being a lot more form fitting and
Too. I
streamlined.
think it's a really cool figure. And I definitely like the filmation, look more than just the standard Hordak. So I'm glad this one came out.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see just the varying canon designs that they have for Origins and also for the Masterverse and Classics. And so, I think it's definitely a lot bigger, like there's a lot massive, more massive of a canon on the Origins figure.
Yeah, I never really gave that one too much thought, but seeing it in comparison to this one, I that Origins one, eh, I'm not really I'm not really liking it too much after seeing this one. This one has a lot more kind of simplistic design, but somehow it ends up looking more natural too. I think it's a cool design for it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I think overall, we're going to be actually discontinuing our ratings because they actually really didn't make a whole lot of sense. But we tried it out, and but I think we're just going to move forward with summaries from now on.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's easier because the reviews, yeah, it's hard to come up with a kind of a system that you use and stick to it. So yeah.
Yeah. But I think like overall the design for this Hordak I think is really really nice, and I think they did a great job with just you know the updates that we'd mentioned before. The armor looks great, and the silver accents I think kind of play off the blacks and the reds here.
Yeah, I think it's a great figure. I like that they kept that kind of bone theme. I think that they really made that kind of an integral part of the design. And I think that's cool. A few misses with the sloppy paint.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple extra paint apps would be cool. Um, I think overall I like everything they did. I think it'd be cool maybe to see that Lou Scheimer style head maybe thrown in as an extra pack in. I
Yeah.
almost would have rather seen that than maybe the extra arm.
Right.
Just because I think display wise, I would probably be more apt to swap the head out, of course, than the arm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a cool figure. Lots of it, extra pieces and stuff for the deluxe figure. So
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great. And that wraps up our review of the Masterverse Deluxe Hordak figure. So let us know what you think about this figure in the comments below. I'm Michael,
and I'm Larry.
and thanks for dropping into our Toy Habits examination room.